In the late 19th century, this magnificent manor house was home to one of Britain's most famous designers. He called this place Heaven on Earth. Find out where I am and who was so inspired by this lovely setting in a few moments. On today's show, we're helping a British expat find a home back in the motherland after more than 30 years away. It's a big step.
I think it could work for me, but I'd need a bit more time to think about it.
But she seems ready to make the leap.
Oh! That!
Jump up down. Today, I'm in Oxfordshire, and this is Kelmcott Manor, where William Morris, founder of the arts and crafts movement, spent his summers from 1871 until his death in 1896. Later on in the show, I'll be back to take a tour of the house, but in the meantime, here's what else this wonderful county has to offer. Oxfordshire in the south of England shares its borders with counties including Wiltshire, Berkshire and Buckinghamshire. It's a peaceful landscape of wooded hills and green fields, with the River Thames a dominant presence in the southern half of the county. Here you'll find the riverside market town of Henley-on-Thames, with its string of pretty Georgian buildings lining the high street. The town has a strong boating and rowing tradition, and the Royal Regatta is held here every July. The county's capital is Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, a phrase coined by the 19th century poet Matthew Arnold to describe the architecture of the university buildings, many of which are around 700 years old. Equally impressive is the county's most famous stately home, Blenheim Palace, seat of the Duke of Marlborough and the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill. With its diverse mix of rural beauty and peaceful market towns, Oxfordshire is a county that offers something for everyone. Property shopping in Oxfordshire can be very expensive. The average price of a detached house tips over £390,000. That's 30% more than the national average. And here's why. Not only are there great road and rail links into London, but the area also takes in the desirable Cotswolds region, making it a commuter's rural paradise. For more affordable property, I think heading out west is best. For instance, a house in Farringdon could cost 20% less than something similar in Henley in the east of the county. Worth bearing in mind as we meet today's buyer. Leslie is returning to Britain after spending the last 3 decades living all over the world, most recently in Dubai. Joining her on the house hunt is her friend and fellow expat, Jenny.
I left here in 1981 and I went to work just for 2 years in Dubai, and I met my husband, and he was already on his journey going around the world, so really I never came home. I intended to, but I never came home. So we married and had 3 children, and we lived in the States. We've lived in Hong Kong twice, Dubai twice, Holland, and then we ended up in '95 in Dubai, and that's where we decided to stay.
Sadly, Leslie's husband died 8 years ago. She carried on living in Dubai because her 3 children were settled at school. But now they're grown up and have flown the nest, it's time for a change.
I'm a widow now, knocking on the door of retirement, let's put it that way. And I've done Dubai now. I need to move on, and I want to come home.
Leslie met Jenny in the early 1990s when they were both living in Hong Kong. Jenny has already moved back to the UK and so has experience of making the transition.
I have the feeling for what it is like to be back. She knows how much I like properties, and I've moved so many times. You know, maybe I can really help her with that. And I think that, you know, together, you know, we could really be a good team on this.
And as we're friends, she will know very well what suits me as well.
Leslie has her heart set on finding a home in South Oxfordshire.
I need to be within striking distance of London fairly easy access, but also to my elderly parents in Surrey, Heathrow, but also I have friends in the city of Oxford as well. So if I position myself there, I think I'm getting what I want in an area because it is rural, semi-rural and partly urban as well. So it covers all the bases.
But as well as location, it's that unique country lifestyle that Leslie really wants to find again.
It's funny because I came home 2 years ago to a spring and I had forgotten what crocuses and daffodils and all of those things were like at springtime, and it was just so magical. So I do miss the seasons. It will be lovely to have that again. Also, I've always had this hankering for living in a village community where you've got a country pub and you've got the post office, you know, chocolate box, that's that kind of thing. It might not be the reality that I end up with, but that's the image that I have in my head, and I've missed it.
And she wants a place that's big enough for the family, as well as a possible business.
I have this vision of everybody coming to me for Christmas, and I want to have the room for it. But also, the other thing that I'd like to think about is having possibly a B&B business.
All that's left is to find out how much is in the pot for Leslie's great British homecoming.
The budget that I'm looking at for the house that I want is between £600,000 and £700,000.
Leslie has mentioned Henley-on-Thames as the town she would like to be close to, so we're concentrating our property search in the south of the county. I'm meeting up with her and Jenny to go over the details of her dream move.
Leslie, Jenny, hello.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you both.
You too.
You too.
This is quite a change from Dubai.
It is. It's a big change, although the sun is out for us today, so that's nice.
A little reminder of where you've come from.
Yes, just a little one.
Life in the British countryside is quite different from a life in Dubai
It
or
is.
Hong Kong. How are you feeling about that change?
Well, I've always lived in quite a major city, really, and I think I will actually quite like a bit of peace and quiet, but as long as I have a car and I can get to places fairly easily, Henley or wherever. So I think it'll be fine.
Leslie, you both met, of course, in Hong Kong.
Yes.
But you made this move yourself a
Yes,
few years ago.
About 18 years ago, yeah.
How did you find it?
Well, I was so delighted to come back home after 24 years abroad. And I came back with my children and husband who'd never lived here. So I had a lot of convincing to make them love it as much as me, but they eventually did.
Leslie, paint us a picture of the actual house.
Well, I do want character. I'm sorry, I know it sounds like a cliche, but I don't want to live in a square box. I want a house that has a flow to it, has an atmosphere to it, and I really want a fireplace. Really. So, and a great kitchen, and I want to be able to come in the front door and say, this is mine, this is home.
Well, remind us of your budget.
It's £600,000 to £700.
And you want at least 3 bedrooms.
Yes, I do, yes.
Well, we've got 3 houses that we want to show you.
Great.
Lots to get on with.
Great.
So let's get started.
Thank you.
For a budget of £600,000 to £700,000, Leslie is after a house with character and atmosphere. She'd like at least one original fireplace and a spacious kitchen. It should have 3 bedrooms for when her children come to stay. Leslie has also mentioned the possibility of developing a bed and breakfast business at some point in the future, so the arrangement of the house should take account of this. Finally, she'd prefer not to be too isolated and wants to be close to a large village or market town. We've found 3 delightful homes for Leslie and Jenny to view. I'll be asking her to guess the price at the end of each house tour. Our mystery property could give Leslie much more than just somewhere to live when she returns to the UK.
What things are you most looking forward to about living in Britain?
Well, I'm looking forward to having my own house because where I've lived abroad, it's always been a rented accommodation.
Will you get a dog?
I might, yes, I've been thinking about that. But first things first, I've got to decorate a house first. And that'll take a while.
For our first property, we're heading to the small settlement of Winterbrook, around 20 minutes drive from Henley-on-Thames. It's just outside Wallingford, which also sits on the banks of the Thames. This historic market town has a variety of shops and cafes, arranged around a large open square and along numerous paved alleyways. House number 1 is set in a peaceful rural location on a popular lane just a mile outside of the town.
So, ladies, may I present to you your very first house?
Very nice. Yes, it looks lovely.
Nice.
Is it cute? I like the lane as well.
Pretty.
It's a very, very desirable road. It's only the second house that's gone on the market on this road in the last decade.
That says it all, doesn't
So
it?
this is a real opportunity. The house itself, late 19th century. But of course, as you can see, semi-detached.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Okay, I think. It depends what's inside. I think I could live with that. I think I could live with that.
I think you're going to like a lot of the features we're going to show
I
you
hope
inside.
so.
Let's go.
A nice positive start to our first house tour, and I'm hopeful Leslie and Jenny will also like the interior, which has had extensive work done to it. We're heading to the kitchen and dining area first.
So through the formal hallway
Look at this.
is what I think will be the heart of the household.
Yes, I think so too. This is lovely.
Charming. That's what I could say. Charming.
I think this is a great entertaining space.
Yes, I think so too.
Do you do a lot of entertaining?
I will do. Well, I used to. I haven't for a while, but I intend to. Yes, this would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's
love it.
lovely. Really.
Let's go see the garden room.
Okay.
Can't
I
wait.
think you're going to like it.
Oh, wow, look at this.
That's lovely. I don't think you'd ever leave this room, would you? Right through to the cold weather, you'd have those doors open, I think. I think the thing is, if you have lived in a hot climate, you are used to in-out
Yes.
living.
Yeah.
And this is what we've done. We've put on a conservatory and tried to live outside as much as we can.
There is another sitting room, the old sitting room.
Ah.
I want to show you that.
Okay.
It has a very
All right.
special feature.
Oh, look how cute this is.
Oh,
Look.
This
I love the
is
fireplace.
lovely.
I've got to think about fireplaces, haven't I? I love that window. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful little bay window, isn't it?
It's charming.
I wouldn't change anything with
No.
this. It's just too cute.
It is, really.
Well, at the moment, they use it as a study. I think it could also be your winter sitting room, just as the conservatory is the summer sitting room. What would
Could
you
be.
What would you use it as?
A place where I would curl up with the book.
So that's the downstairs done. Let's go upstairs.
The downstairs also features a handy shower and cloakroom off the entrance hall, and to the side of the property, a garage which could be converted to a further reception room, subject to planning permission. Upstairs, there are 3 good-sized double bedrooms, 2 of which overlook the back garden, as well as a spacious half-tiled family bathroom. But I want to show Leslie and Jenny the largest of the 3 bedrooms.
So,
wow.
Leslie, this would be your master bedroom.
Very nice.
It's a nice size, isn't it? It's an L shape. I like that.
And there's an ensuite bathroom which you can explore later.
Okay.
Just through there.
Okay.
Very, very
And
nice.
it's a very nice aspect too. Look at this.
Yeah.
So you'd be happy with something this size?
Well, yes, because again, there's quite big furniture. I probably wouldn't have another wardrobe as big as that. I think it could work for me, but I'd need a bit more time to think about it. But yes, initial impression is good.
And
I
of
like
course,
it.
you have 2 other good-sized
Yes.
bedrooms, so you could put clothes and shoes and handbags and everything
I'm
else.
already there. I'm already there. It's okay.
What do you think about the size of the house?
No, it's very compact. They've made really good use of the space. It's got all the things that I've asked for.
So that's the inside of the house done. Thumbs up so far.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Let's go into the garden, and I want you ladies to start thinking about how much you think the house is on offer for, because that's what I'm about to ask you. Follow me?
Okay.
The garden is secluded and largely laid to lawn, but there's also a good-sized terrace for entertaining. At the end of the garden, there's an old walnut tree, and beyond that, great views of the surrounding countryside. A fairly low-maintenance English country garden, I
Yes.
would say.
It is, yes.
Is this what you had in mind, Leslie?
I did, yes. Yes, it's perfect.
Lots of positive vibes from you.
Yes.
Are you going to love the price?
Don't know.
Scary
Jenny,
bit.
what do you think this property is on the market for?
I think it's on the market for £695,000.
So you think it's at the top?
I do, because you've
Leslie's
given
budget.
her everything she asked for.
Leslie?
Asking me?
Yes.
Well, this is really difficult, but I'm going to go with 665.
OK. Well, I'm very sorry to tell you that you're going to have a lot of spare change. The house is on the market for offers in excess of £600,000.
No. Oh, that!
Jump up and down.
Well,
Go on, more jumping. I want more
if you
jumping.
If you don't buy it, I will. that truly is amazing.
Well, while you take in the price and reflect in that joy of the price, I'll let you explore the 2 other bedrooms upstairs.
Yes.
Jenny, I'm sure you want to go and pick out your bedroom for when you come and stay.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you in a little bit.
Yes,
Thank
okay
you.
then, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow, what a reaction. Not bad for a first house. It's a fantastic start.
On the market for offers over £600,000, our first property is at the lower end of Leslie's budget. It's a 19th century semi-detached family home located on a pretty lane close to a popular market town. The interior has been remodelled and extended and includes a spacious kitchen diner and garden room. There are 3 double bedrooms upstairs, including one with an ensuite bathroom. The garden is low maintenance and extensive, offering excellent views of the surrounding countryside.
I really think that this house does have Leslie's name written all over it, and I think that she would be very, very happy here. I think location-wise, the size of the house, and I think she could manage this very well.
This house is very warm, welcoming, light. It just has a good feel for it, and yes, I can see myself being in it and being happy, and that's the most important thing. The only possible caveat I would say is that I did think about possibly doing a B&B later on. I don't think I'd do that here. I think it's just enough for me and the family. I don't think I'd do that. That's not a deal breaker, but it's just something I hadn't thought of, and I need to think about that. But it is a contender, yes.
OK, that's house 1 done. Does house number 2 have a lot to live up to?
It does, yes. That did have a lot of the good things that I wanted, yes. So it does.
Let's hope it matches your expectations then.
Okay.
Let's explore.
Thank you.
Although Leslie's keen to adopt a rural way of life, she wants to be close to a town or large village, and Oxfordshire's green and pleasant land is dotted with some stunning examples of the classic English market town. One of those is Wallingford, close to the location of our first house. The town grew up around an important crossing point along the River Thames and has a recorded history going back over 1,000 years. Since Leslie is returning to the UK after nearly 3 decades living abroad, we sent both her and Jenny to find out more about Wallingford's past from tourist guide Jennifer Bassanava.
Welcome to Wallingford.
Thank you.
And you can see what a beautiful, idyllic place it is. It dates way back to the Saxon times. In fact, we do know there were settlements long before that in the Bronze and Iron Ages. But in the Saxon era, it was as important as Winchester. It was a fortified town, and it maintained that importance through the Middle Ages, and it got its own charter in the 1100s from Henry II. So in the middle of the 1100s it had a charter which made it very important. So important, in fact, that in 1215 it was one of only 4 towns mentioned in the Magna Carta.
Wallingford prospered during the Middle Ages thanks largely to the Thames, which was an important transport route, and the town became a vital trading centre in the 17th and 18th centuries. Many of the buildings which line the pretty market square date back to that time.
So what type of industry was Wallingford involved in at that time?
Well, remember, Wallingford is in an agricultural setting, so it was important to have agricultural tools, machinery, so there was a large iron foundry here. Other industries, breweries, of course, maltings. The market, which took place here, was incredibly busy with butchers, bakers, brewers. People would come here because it was a market town and would sell their goods here on Fridays.
As well as being an industrial centre, over the years, Wallingford has been home to some notable people. But perhaps its most famous resident is buried along with her husband in this churchyard in the village of Chelsea, just outside the town.
Here we are, standing in front of the gravestone of the Queen of Crime, Agatha Christie. Wallingford is actually mentioned, certainly in a couple of her novels. House of Cards and Dumb Witness both feature the town.
Can you tell us why she wrote under Agatha Christie, her maiden name, and not under her married name of Malowan?
She had started writing before her marriage to Max and had achieved a certain fame, so the name was well known. But also, I think, because she was a very private person.
With a tour of Wallingford's historic highlights, hopefully we've given Leslie a hint of what a life in Oxfordshire could offer her. Now it's time to turn house detective again as we return to the property hunt. For our second offering, we're hopping over the border into Berkshire and to the village of Brightwalton. Although we've crossed into a different county, we're still around 30 miles from Henley-on-Thames. The closest village for amenities is Great Shefford. Located on the River Lambourne, there's a parish church, local shop, and a range of historic buildings. The second property is a 10-minute drive away on the edge of the smaller village of Brightwalton.
Now, as you can see, house number 2 is a very different proposition.
Yes, that is something. So unusual.
I mean, it's quaint,
And
it's
quite
chocolate
different.
box.
Which is what
I
you
think
asked for.
I used that term, didn't I? They're both very different, aren't they? And normally I like things to be more symmetrical. Is that the term I want to use?
So you've got a 17th century classic English countryside thatched roof cottage.
It is cute, isn't it?
On this
very
side.
cute. Yes.
And the extension that you can see over there was built 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. Shall we see what inside has to offer?
I would like to, yes. I'd like to very much. Thank you.
We're going to start with the older thatched part of the house. This is where you'll find 2 reception rooms, one of which is this cosy sitting room with a multi-fuel burner.
So this is the dining room.
That's the dining room.
And is that a range?
It is. Good spot. This used to be the kitchen before the extension. So the range isn't working at the moment, but it wouldn't take much to get something like that up and running, I'm sure.
Okay, all right.
And obviously here you have the brickwork on the floors.
I like it. Yeah, really great natural features, isn't it?
So very different from the first house.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
How are you feeling about it, Leslie?
I don't know. I don't know. Ask me in 10 minutes. I've got to
Okay.
think about this.
Yeah.
You need to see more of the property.
I think I do, yes.
Okay, well, should we go over to the modern part? The kitchen
Yes,
is
that'd
in the
be
modern
lovely.
part. Let's do that.
Oh, Jenny, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, that
goodness.
is something.
I
That's
love the oohs and ahs. Keep going.
Really beautiful.
It's almost like a church, do you know what I mean, with all these...
This is like a
these
whole other house. It's another area where you're going to spend your
interesting, isn't it?
daytime.
This is where I think, Leslie, you would spend most of your
Which
time.
is why the other side now makes sense, because that's sort of the cosy evening winter. And this is
the action in the daytime, probably.
it's lovely.
So
It's
you've got your-
really lovely.
Your kitchen, a little breakfast area, a little lounge area.
Sitting area, yeah.
Could you entertain here?
Oh,
Well, yes, you could. Yes, you definitely could.
but you've got informal
Yes.
there and you have formal in there, so you have a choice here.
And let's go and see what could be your master bedroom.
Okay.
Better reactions to the extended wing of the house, although I'm still not sure it's grabbing Leslie. The downstairs of the thatched part includes a generous bathroom. Upstairs is also divided with 2 separate staircases. In the newer section, you'll find 2 of the 4 bedrooms, both with built-in cupboards and exposed beams, and they share another bathroom. The older wing is home to another double bedroom and the master.
Welcome to the master bedroom suite, I think that we can call it.
Wow. That is a very big bed, isn't it?
Isn't it?
And just to your left there is an open plan ensuite.
Very nice.
What I think you should do is take out all the clothes rails and the shoes from here and actually turn the second bedroom up here into your dressing room. So this whole part of the house...
Now we're
Now
talking.
we're talking.
Yes.
See, I know what you want. I know what a woman wants when it comes to dressing rooms.
That's just a brilliant idea.
Yes, I like that idea.
Should we go out into the back garden?
Yes, I'd like to see that.
Outside, the house is surrounded by a secluded garden which is laid to lawn and enclosed by mature hedging. There's also a timber shed, handy for storage.
How much do you think this house is on the market for? Jenny, you went first last time, so Leslie?
Oh, this is a real flyer, but I actually think it would go for something like 575.
Okay. Interesting. Jenny?
Maybe I would say 640.
640.
Yes.
Well, this time Jenny is much closer to the mark. They want offers in excess of £650,000.
I did say that I wanted chocolate box.
You did?
But I think this is a little bit too much for me. Whilst I can see the advantage of having the house divided like that, I'm finding it a bit too bitty. Does that make sense? It doesn't flow right for me.
Do you want to have another look?
I can go
Go and do that,
Sure.
and I'll see you in a bit.
Right.
At offers in excess of £650,000, our second house is priced at £50,000 more than our first. It's a thatched English country cottage which has been extended and modernised. The accommodation includes a cosy sitting room and a large open-plan kitchen and breakfast room. It comes with 4 bedrooms, 2 in each wing of the property, and a private lawned garden.
The plot size is great. It looks like a really nice community, lovely garden. But I think really as you go from room to room, you just get a feeling, and it just wasn't really there for me.
I'm actually quite surprised about how definite an answer we got today. I thought that house tour was going really rather well, but that's how things go. That's the end of day 1, ladies.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
It's the second day of our property search in Oxfordshire, and on a maximum budget of £700,000, we're helping expat Leslie find a country pad back in Britain. Still to come, size is everything at the Mystery House.
Oh my goodness. This is space.
Huge.
I love it, yeah. It's a proper kitchen.
And I visit the house that inspired one of Britain's greatest designers.
I was expecting it to be fussier. Now, Leslie has mentioned a couple of times the possibility of running a B&B, and the Mystery House could provide that option. It has plenty of other possibilities too, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, she has to fall in love with it as a home.
For our final property, we're heading back into Oxfordshire and to the village of Northmoor. Although we're now half an hour away from Henley-on-Thames, the west of the county offers a bit more value for money. Northmoor is a peaceful village, but one with an active community, and there's plenty to enjoy here, including a village pub, a farm shop selling local produce, and a church with a dedicated choir. Our Mystery House is situated in the heart of the village and is well placed for a bed and breakfast business, but I'm keen to see if Leslie is up for that challenge.
Come on through to your Mystery House. Mind your heads here, though.
Yes.
Oh, good Lord, look at this. Oh my goodness.
This is your 18th century country cottage. Okay. It's listed, and this is the new part of the building. It was built 25 years ago. The reason this is a Mystery House is you've mentioned a few times that about the possibility of setting up a B&B.
A B&B, yes, that's right.
This house really does give you that possibility.
Great.
And there are lots of other options as well.
Okay.
Real opportunities to put your own stamp on this property. I'm actually bursting with ideas, so I want to get you in there.
Good.
Let's go.
Fantastic. Yeah.
In many ways, our Mystery House has a similar setup to yesterday's second property, an old cottage with a modern extension attached. So I'm still a little nervous that it might be a bit too traditional for Leslie. We're heading to the older part of the house first.
Oh, my fireplace.
That is a beauty.
This is actually one of 2 reception rooms like this in this part of the house.
Okay.
The old part of the house. And the B&B idea, the guest house idea, is that you could completely shut off that part of the house. So the entrance that we came through could be a completely separate entrance for guests, for your B&B, because there is also a separate staircase there. So what you would have is a living room, and there are 2 bedrooms and a family bathroom upstairs.
All right, that sounds good.
You could keep this.
Yes.
And then there's lots more
Right, okay.
in the new part of the house. So how are you feeling about that idea?
No, I like the idea, yes, very much, yes. If it can be closed off, I think that would be a lot better.
I'm so glad that Leslie is open to the idea of giving over the other downstairs reception room to guests, along with 2 of the upstairs bedrooms and a bathroom. But that's not the only option with this property.
Welcome to the kitchen. I think you're going to like its size.
Oh my goodness, yes, isn't this is space.
Huge.
I love it, yeah.
That's the kitchen.
It's a proper kitchen.
And it's very rare to get a kitchen of this size in a property like this, of this style.
Yes.
It's
and the thing is, if you
really
have
beautiful.
B&B, you need a bigger kitchen in which to work as well. So it's lovely. I like it.
Nothing
Look
to
at that.
look, the French door onto the garden. Oh golly.
Well, this is the
everywhere.
other surprise. This is the other part of the mystery. So you would have a sizable kitchen, obviously, but there is already planning permission, which lasts for another year, for a garden room that would go up to that step over there.
Okay.
So you would have your cosy fireplace and your sort of
Yes,
winter room.
yes.
And then you could
Yes.
build.
Somehow that works better than what we've seen before. You know what I mean? The last house had the same elements, but because the flow is somehow different, it works better. And this has the option of the extra garden room.
In addition to the 2 bedrooms earmarked for the B&B guests in the older part of the house, there are 2 further bedrooms upstairs in the modern extension. One is a single and the other would be Leslie's bedroom.
This is the master bedroom.
Right, okay.
I liked your reaction in the second house when we mentioned walk-in wardrobes.
Yes.
A girl after my own heart.
And this is quite small, isn't it?
And this is not a grand master, but what you could do is either knock through a little doorway into the single bedroom, or
And
just
use
use
that
that, or just
as a
use
dressing
that as a walk-in wardrobe and
Yes.
just go out through its
That's
normal.
possible.
So
Yeah.
it becomes the whole end is
Yes,
It's
it
it would be a very substantial walk-in wardrobe, so you could just move the clothes
That's
out
what
of
I
here.
need.
Absolutely. There's an ensuite shower room here, so you really wouldn't need anything else apart from this, your walk-in wardrobe, your ensuite shower room.
very nice.
I really like the idea of creating my own space. There's plenty of room to do it.
And also making your mark. When you see something like this, it's beautiful, but there's lots of options. It gives you that opportunity to put your own stamp on
And
it,
I
think.
would do that.
The mystery house gets the seal of approval from Jenny too, but there's still the outside space to see. As well as the strip of front garden round the back of the property as an enclosed substantial patch of lawn surrounded by shrubs and apple trees, as well as a big garage offering plenty of storage options.
So the question you're anticipating,
Yes.
now's the time to ask it.
Oh, that's
How
difficult.
much is this property on the market for? I'll start with you, Jenny.
I would say 685.
Okay.
I think 690.
You both are a little off, actually,
Uh-oh.
but you'll be pleased about it. It's on the market for £625,000, leaving you £75,000 to build
what?
that garden room, make it your own, make any changes you want to make. So it does leave
Very
you
interesting.
with lots of change.
Yes. There's a lot to think about there, a lot.
I know, and that's why I think you should go back into the house, have a look
Yes.
at all those bedrooms, figure out
Yes.
what you might want to do with them, because I know I've given you lots of ideas.
Yes, you have.
And, you know, there are endless possibilities, I think. Take as long as you want, and I'll meet you back out here in the garden.
Thanks.
All right,
Anne.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Priced at £625,000, our mystery house is well within budget. It's a Grade 2 listed 18th century cottage with a modern extension. The accommodation includes 2 cosy reception rooms and a large country kitchen. There are 4 bedrooms in total, with the option of using 2 as part of a separate space for bed and breakfast guests. There's planning permission in place to build a garden room, and the garden itself is large and secluded.
I could actually see my family coming to stay here and I think they would love it. Especially if there are grandchildren in the offing, they would love that garden. And if you had the extension as well, it would be a real family room, I think.
I think personally that this house would suit Leslie very well. And I do think that it would give her that project that would pull her into England in a very positive way and not miss that exciting life she had in Dubai. Because I do think that the change is going to be great for you.
It will be, yes, and maybe I need to be busy.
I think this is an amazing garden.
I know, and I love that. I really do. You could use a lot of things
well,
for that.
We could take the bikes, and it could become a sort of an afternoon when it's a bit rainy or misty, a covered spot.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I am going to have to
redesign the garden.
I'm going to have to drag you away from the garden that you so obviously love. We can't move in just yet.
No. All right.
Let's go and find somewhere to sit down and digest everything that we've seen over the last 2 days.
Okay.
There is a lot. Let's go.
All right.
In the heart of the Oxfordshire countryside, close to the River Thames, is Kelmcott Manor. In the late 19th century, the manor had a major influence on one of Britain's leading designers, William Morris, who came here with his family. Morris was a key figure in the arts and crafts movement, which sought to revive the notion of craftsmanship in an age of increasing mechanisation. Today, the manor stands as testament to those principles. I've come to Kelmcott to find out more about its enduring legacy. I'm meeting the curator, Sarah Parker.
Sarah, tell me, what attracted William Morris to Kelmcott?
Well, he was looking for his summer retreat away from the smog and pressures of London, and he wanted a really beautiful place in the countryside. And believe it or not, he actually saw this place in a dream, so that when he actually came to visit it, he just couldn't believe it. This was his heaven on earth. Morris loved the house. It was on the river, it's in the Cotswolds, and of course he felt it was growing organically, literally out of the ground. It was made by local craftsmen using local materials, so really, really important principles for him.
And that local craftsmanship, that's a founding principle of the arts and crafts movement.
Definitely.
Kelmcott Manor and its garden inspired Morris's later work, including some of his most famous wallpaper and textile designs, and some of those influences can be seen inside.
So this is the oldest part of the house. This was the family dining room.
I was expecting it to be fussier.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because many of our visitors expect a typical Victorian interior, really cluttered. But Morris liked plain, simple lines. He liked, for instance, the original Tudor furniture that you've got here, very simple, very honest furniture.
There might not be any wallpaper, but these wall hangings are very recognisable.
Yes, they are much loved by many of our visitors. They're called Strawberry Thief. In fact, they were hung in 1883. Very reminiscent of Morris, quite cheeky, the thrush stealing the strawberry, inspired by the garden, the kitchen gardens here. But we've actually got his very first embroidery that he did himself in the house. So, shall I show you?
I want to see that.
So here we are, Sonali. This was the very first attempt by Morris at textile design. You can see here is his motto, "If I can," which is reminiscent of a famous Flemish 14th century artist called Van Eyck. And he took that from there to mean, well, I've tried my best. If I can, anyone can.
I actually really like it because it isn't fussy. You feel like this could be hung in a school. It's a school motto, isn't it? If I can.
That's very true.
William's wife Jane and daughter May Morris were skilled textile designers in their own right. The manor house contains many of their original works, including this decorative bedspread in the master bedroom.
This room really follows the simplicity of the whole house. Everything is simple yet elegant.
That's very true, and that's very in line with William Morris's quote when he said, "Have nothing in your houses which you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful."
The Morris designs are still much loved around the world and have inspired many of today's designers and architects. Kelmcott has changed little since Morris's day and is a fitting tribute to one of Britain's most influential craftsmen.
Well, we've now shown Leslie and Jenny all 3 houses on offer, and I'm so pleased that we got positive reactions for 2 of them. But what is Leslie going to do next? She's waiting inside. know how you feel about house number 2, so you're only considering number 1 and the mystery
number 2,
house.
That's right, yes. The 2 houses are so different that I have to consider, it's really a choice with lifestyle. Do I want more of a lock and leave, but much more compact house, which was very exciting when I first saw it, especially when you revealed the price. And then the third one I really loved in a totally different way. I mean, I really could run a B&B from that. The garden is fantastic, the kitchen is to die for, and if I could build an extension, I really can see me living in that area, and I'd be very happy. So there's a dilemma there that I'd have to think about.
In a way, then, it's not really between house 1 and the mystery house, it's between a simpler lifestyle and a B&B life.
Yes, that's right.
That's really what you need to decide before you decide on the house.
I think I have to decide what I'm ready for, because when I looked at house 3, I thought, am I ready for this yet? That was quite revealing, actually, that I had to go through this journey to find that out. But it's also very tempting to do now, to sort of jump in with both feet and just do it. Don't be
personally,
tempted.
I really think that Leslie would be happy in that first house, because I think it was a beautiful house. I think it was a fantastic location. Yeah. And as Leslie said, it is a perfect lock-up house. But
I want both.
After saying that, the mystery house has got the potential for a lifestyle that I think Leslie could handle.
Double the budget and you can have both.
Thank you.
So what happens next, Leslie? How do you make this decision? A big decision, we know.
Yes, well, it's a good question. Jenny and I were talking about this, and we think, first of all, that we really do need to go back and look at house 1 and the mystery house again. We really would like to do that.
You know I'm going to be mean. I know you're not ready to make a quick decision, but if you had to put in an offer today, which one, house 1 or the mystery house?
If you're going to put me on the spot, I'll say mystery house.
Really? Wow. Why is that?
I don't know.
Well, that shows that you're gutsy. That shows that you do have the energy for that adventure.
I did say that it's a choice between your head and your heart. That's from my heart. My head says the other house. But I could enjoy that house as well, the number 1. I could enjoy that too.
Will you let us know how you get on?
Absolutely, of course I will, yes.
Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
It's not surprising that Leslie wants more time to consider her options and the houses that we've shown her. After all, she spent more than 3 decades living abroad in bustling places like Dubai and Hong Kong. She now has to decide how she wants to live her new life, not only back in Britain, but in the countryside too. I am pretty confident the past 2 days have focused her thoughts, and with a bit more help from Jenny, her other friends and family, it won't be too long before Leslie has made up her mind. I'll see you next time.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland, or maybe even further afield to the continent and would like our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.